Okay, for number 9, I'm going to use a matrix again, and the reason for that just makes it easier for me to follow through on the problem. And again, I know I say this repeatedly, there's not only one way to do a problem. The way I do it may be different than the way you do it. The outcomes can't change, though. All right? So let me write this down for you, and I'll write an augmented matrix down. And I realize it may look very confusing to you, but there's a coefficient of 1, a coefficient of b plus c, I'll put that in parentheses, by the way, and a coefficient of bc over here. Next column, coefficient of 1, coefficient of, I'm going to put a plus c down, and then a coefficient of ac. Coefficient of 1, a plus b, and then ab, a line, just an augmented matrix, 0, 0, 1. Again, this may help you, it may not help you, but I'm going to try to do some eliminations, and I'll write it down for you. But when I do it, I'm going to make some erasures for you and write down what I'm seeing. So I'm going to say minus b plus c times row 1 plus row 2, give it to row 2. All right? And what would you get over there? It kind of, yeah, you certainly would get 0. That's the whole point of doing it. And then the next one you'd get, which would be minus b minus c plus a plus c. Let's take a look at that. I'll write that down for you. So it's minus b minus c plus a plus c. Which is going to be a minus b? I'll put that in parentheses. Move my eraser out, my baby work on the side. And then the next one's going to be, let's see, I'll write it down for you. It's going to be minus b minus c. Oops. And then a plus b, right? The b disappears, so you just get a minus c. I'll write that down for you. Whoops, I didn't make a mistake there, didn't I? I said a minus c, and I wrote a minus b down. Okay, last but not least, I got the 0, so that's really kind of simplistic. I'll just put the 0 there. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my eraser out, and I'm going to erase row 2 now. It's dangerous to do that, but I'm not erasing the original problem. I can always go back. If I make mistakes, I'll go back. And what do you get over here? 0, a minus b, and a minus c. And that's 0. And I'm done with this. I'm not going to look at that again, but it's done. I'm over with that. And again, some people do this in their head. I can't do it in my head. I have to write these things down. So now what I'm going to do minus bc times row 1 and add it to row 3. And that's what I get. Well, you clearly get 0 first off. And then you're going to get minus bc plus ac. Well, I see that as c times a minus b. All right, get my eraser out, my baby work on the side. I'm going to go to the next entry. And what's the next entry going to be? And I'll write it down for you. It's going to be minus bc plus ab. And I'd probably factor a b out from that. And I would get b times a minus c. All right, that's done. And then what? Oh, I just get 1. That's simple. Well, I'm going to write that down now. So that's going into row 3, right? And I'll write that down. And that's going to be 0, c, a minus b, b, a minus c, and I get a 1 there. Let me erase my work. And again, we're talking through this. If I were taking an exam, I wouldn't be erasing my work. I'd leave it there and just continue on the paper. We're just talking through this now. I got troubles now, and my troubles is I got to make another elimination. And what I'm going to do c times row 2. Oh, I'm sorry, minus c times row 2 plus row 3 and give it to row 3. You'd certainly get 0. You intended this to get another 0. And then I got some troubles on my end. And I'll write this down for you. What are you going to get? Minus c times A minus C, and that's going to be plus BA minus C. Well, that's really not so bad. That's just going to be A minus C, I'm factoring it, by the way, times B minus C. All right, so that's done. And I got to keep doing this. And it's going to be minus C times 0. Oh, look at that. It's a 1. All right. So I'm going to go up here and erase it. And someone says, why do you keep erasing? My thoughts are going forward. And they're going forward in such a way that I think I can start to answer the question. I can start to understand a process now. All right, I'm going to erase all this work over here. Now, there is a problem with erasing. If you erase something and you don't know what you've done, there's no evidence of it. But I can write this down now. And you're going to get 0, 0. And then you're going to get A minus C, B minus C is equal to 1. Now, I got to understand what that means. And if I don't, I couldn't answer the question. And that means that the coefficient on the z, I'll write this down for you, that it's really A minus C, B minus C, z is equal to 1. That means z is equal to 1 over A minus C, B minus C. Well, now what I'm going to do, I'm claiming this is my answer. I'm going to look at their answer. And certainly you might say, oh, their answer looks different. Not substantially so, by the way. And by the way, the way that I did it there, I can't remember. It's years ago. The way I did it here, it's different. Each time I attack a problem, there's always something different I'm doing. But I'm never going to change the answer, all right, unless my answer is wrong. So I want to see, if these are equivalent. And the one thing I would recommend to do is either you know they're equivalent or you want to show they're equivalent. So I'm going to factor out a minus 1 from the first factor, and that would become A minus C. And I'm going to factor a minus 1 out from the second factor, and that would be minus C. And does that work out? Well, minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. Yeah, it's perfect. So this is good. I'm really glad that I got the right answer, all right? So let me erase this over here. I'm pretty comfortable with this is the correct answer. Then someone says, what are you going to do now? Well, I got to go backwards, and I got to figure out the other ones. And that could be trouble, but let me put this down for you. And what do I have? In the second row, I have this. I have A minus B times Y plus A minus C times Z. Well, I know what Z is, and A minus C times Z is going to be 1 over B minus C. And that equals 0. So I think I can write Y down now. What's it going to be? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. We'll check the key later. Y, oh boy, I got to make a mistake again. So let me write, maybe I should go in steps. A minus B, Y equals, well, I got to subtract that from both sides, right? Let me see if I did this right. So it's going to be minus 1 over B minus C. And then Y will equal minus 1 over A minus B, B minus C. By the way, you can clean that up a little tiny bit if you want. I will be looking at the answers, by the way. But I think that's fine. And now, maybe I should clean up a tiny bit. Hope you're not confused by this. I'm going to multiply the top by minus 1. That would make it 1. And if you multiply the bottom by minus 1, I have to associate it with somebody. And I'm going to associate with the factor A minus B. And what would that become? B minus A. And then when you go there, B minus C now. I'm going to get my red pen. I'm going to commit this to my answer. And we'll look at their answer. And their answer is over here. What does it say? 1. And then you got B minus A. Yeah, we did okay. All right. So I feel like I'm plowing along, and I want to get the next one. And I know it's difficult. And I'm going to start to, I'm convinced I got good answers. And I'm going to start to do the next one. All right. And I'm going to write this down for you. So it's going to be X plus Y. Well, let's write Y down. y is going to be 1 over b minus a, b minus c, right? Just copying the y. We got the same thing, b minus a, b minus c. And I'm going to put my z down now. And what's my z going to be? Plus, my z was 1 over, it's equivalent to their z, by the way. I'm just writing it, what my z was. It's the same z they got. B minus c equals 0. All right? So I got to do that. And let me see if I copied that right. A minus c, b minus c, and then b minus a, b minus c. Yeah, I did okay. I could do some work over here. And again, I'm looking at their answer, my answer. They just don't look right. I'm going to erase this here. I need some room. And we're really going towards the last part, and we want to see if we can get it. All right, so I'm going to write this down. X, and I'm going to put a common denominator. This is equal to 0. And let me see if I can do that. So I'm going to say a minus c, b minus c. Seeing that there and there. And let me see. I see the b minus c, but then I need that b minus a, right? Okay, let's see if we can do it. So it's trouble, but I got to write it down, don't I? And so I got the b minus a. I got the b minus c, but I don't have an a minus c, so I have to build it. That's going to be an a minus c. Plus, well, I have the a minus c and the b minus c, but I don't have the b minus a. All right? Let's keep doing this. And what are you going to get? X plus, let's see, what do you get on top? The a's would disappear, and you would get b minus c. And then you get a minus c over b minus c, b minus a is still equal to 0. Factor this. Those factors cancel, conditionally, but they do cancel. And you get x plus 1 over a minus c, b minus a. And that equals 0. I'm going to subtract that from both sides, and you get x equals minus 1, a minus c, b minus a. Well, I'm going to clean it up again, and the way I'm going to do that, multiply the top and bottom by minus 1. This would be 1. This would be a minus c. And I'm going to associate the minus 1 with the factor b minus a. And what would I get? A minus b. And let's see if I got that. So I'm just putting this answer over here. I'm going to look at theirs. And did they get that? Well, they got 1 over a minus b, a minus c. Yeah, we got it. Now, was this a difficult question? Yeah. Are there other ways to get to the answers? Yeah. There's many ways of doing the problem. Do not think the way I showed you is the way that you want to do it. The way you want to do things is the way you're doing those things, all right? Now, whether you're using a matrices to do it or some other technique, really doesn't much matter. We get to the same answers in the end, all right? Thank you so much for paying attention.